Hey, it's Jordan with TYT. I'm here with Arn Menconi. You're running for Senate in Colorado. Actually, one of my favorite places that I've been at in the primary. I was in Denver.
Yeah.
I had a good time on top of reporting. So you're running against Michael Bennett, Democratic senator, pretty establishment. You would know more about him than me. You're on the Green Party ticket. Colorado seems like it would be kind of open to third parties. There's a lot of independents in Colorado. It's considered kind of purple for the general election.
Right.
Talk to me about Michael Bennett, what he is and isn't doing, and if a Green Party candidate realistically could have a shot.
Right. Well,
Hold it up a little.
Michael Bennett is he was working for Anschutz in a for-profit before Frackenlooper.
What's Anschutz, if people don't know?
Anschutz is railroad, oil and gas, very right Republican. He worked for him out of law school, and then he was appointed superintendent of the Denver School District by then Mayor Hickenlooper, now Governor Hickenlooper, and
who was on Hillary Clinton's short list for vice president.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
And then when Ken Salazar got appointed to Secretary of Interior, Governor Ritter appointed Michael Bennett to that Senate seat. When he ran, Governor Ritter asked me as a former county commissioner if I would support him in a contested primary race. Michael Bennett takes 80% of his money from outside of the state of Colorado, mostly from the usual suspects, Wall Street. One that's very interesting is DeVita, who was indicted for Medicaid fraud. Michael was also one of the main people. He was running the Senate fundraising committee in his rookie year, or in his freshman year as a senator. So he's very, very good at raising money from all the large corporations. Michael Bennett voted for the Keystone Pipeline. He voted for fast tracks. That's when I started making a lot of noise about
Fast track of the TPP?
Right. So that's when I started making a lot of noise back in July of 2015. His chief of staff called me and said, "Hey, Arm, what's going on here?" And I said, "Look, he's not supporting Democrats." And then when Barack Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, keeps bombing 7 countries, bombs the Doctors Without Border Hospital in Afghanistan, extends the war in Afghanistan, I decided it's time to jump ship on the Democratic Party and run as a U.S. Senator.
And a lot of people ask me to find out, do Green Party candidates have any shot in local races and state races? Obviously, you're running, so you're
Right.
going to say yes. But kind of what's the lay of the land? It's Bennett running, you running. I'm assuming he has another Democratic challenger, or the primary's over?
The primary's over.
Okay.
There's a Republican candidate. He's also a county commissioner.
Okay.
He is a self-proclaimed Christian constitutionalist, which means I'm a self-proclaimed Buddhist snowboarder. And there's also a libertarian candidate. So there's a 4-way race, right?
And
Now,
Colorado has a lot of independents.
well, that's what I was going to say. The largest party is the unaffiliate, 1.4, and 50% are under the age of 40. Then 1.2 is Republican, 1.1 is Democrat. I would say when I watched what the Berniecrats did at the Democratic Convention, where 63% of them were for Bernie Sanders and shouted down Michael Bennett, who's a superdelegate for Hillary, it broke towards me. There's also a referendum on the ballot for universal health care. Michael Bennett has come out against that. And there's also the anti-fracking groups in Colorado that's very big. The Democratic Party is bought and sold for the oil and gas. Everybody knows. I've traveled all over the state. I've run statewide elections. Michael Bennett is representing the establishment. He's representing what I call the global corporate mafia. So I think people are ready. You only need 600,000 votes in the state of Colorado to win a U.S. Senate race. So I'm feeling pretty good about trying to get out there and really make a difference. I've got 100 volunteers. Those 100 volunteers can get me 100,000 votes. It's an early voting state. It's really important, mail ballot state. So October, first week of October, you could have a third of the population voting.
Right. And there's also a misconception that Colorado's economy is booming because of marijuana. Marijuana has, legalization has been a positive effect, but I was there and I met many people that are not booming. And, same thing you see around the country, working 2 jobs, shitty health care, on and on. If you got into the Senate with these movers and shakers that do nothing, what specifically for Colorado do you want to do to get the economy moving? Because it's not flourishing.
Well, first let me speak to the economy is really complicated in Colorado. I talk to people all the time about, I have a master's in business administration from University of Denver. You have a booming real estate. People are moving there because that's the lifestyle. They want to come there, and there are jobs starting. I mean, Google's moving their offices to Boulder. Boulder is popping. It's doing very well. So you do have a lot of tech upstart. It's a desirable place to live. You have the Rocky Mountains and all of the skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking. The thing that I would do is what you keep hearing the Green Party talk about is, but let me be a little more specific. The military budget and the security budget is roughly $1 trillion a year. We could find plenty of money in that in order to redirect it to starting the green economy. So when you hear people talk about, well, there's no audit on the military budget, well, they've been calling for a budget and requiring a budget for over a decade now. I mean, I continually find waste in the defense budget because our defense budget is going mostly to the manufacturing side, mostly to either the F-35 or to try to build more ships.
I don't disagree with you, but if you were elected,
redirect the money and prime
isn't
the
that
pump
kind
and
of,
put
as a new senator with these people, isn't that kind of a kamikaze
Well,
mission? Because
well-
that's gonna fall on deaf ears with Mitch McConnell and even the corporate Democrats who
Yeah.
have no problem with the military budget.
Yeah, but there's no one in the Democratic Party who every single day is grabbing the bully pulpit and who has sort of an affinity for budgets and disclosing to the American people, we're not broke. It's all just going to the military-industrial complex. So my job is to wake up the American people, really distill the information for them so that they could start speaking about how they're getting ripped off and how the corporations are stealing from them and bribing and paying off the politicians.
And lastly, obviously, because you're from Colorado, I would ask, if you were in the Senate, would you be, kind of part of that group pushing for other states to legalize marijuana?
I think it should be legalized. I mean, I ran a youth charity for 20 years, so I was very measured about what this could do because I worked to help at-risk kids for 20 years. The integration that I've seen so far has been more good than bad. There's some nuances, like I think it should be retail on the second floor, things like that. I have a 10 and 11-year-old, and there's things that we have to be cautious about, but we need to release the people who were incarcerated because of this and get them, help them integrate back into society. So yes, the other thing I want to make a real important plug for here is I got in this race because we're killing millions of people in the Middle East. This is a weapons-based economy that we have running here, and 60 million people go to sleep every night in refugee camps. I've been involved in the anti-war movement for quite some time. This has to be a moral imperative for Americans. When our government kills 89 people in Syria, or our president is perfecting drone attacks, incarcerating more whistleblowers than any president in the history, it's time to realize that we have to take back democracy and fight to save people's lives. Muslims cannot watch us go out and grab our Starbucks and go, grab our GoPros, whatever it is. They got to see us fighting for other people.
And where can people find more information about you?
Website, arnmenconi.com.
That would be ARNMENCONI.com.
Thank you, Jordan.
We're here for shameless promotion as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. You have
Thank you very much.
arm
Broke at mountain biking.
Thanks.